Hey, 2024. I am excited to be here, and I wanted to talk quickly through the course selection form that you're going to get in the mail, but you'll also have an opportunity to fill it out digitally if that makes more sense for your life. Excuse me. So I wanted to quickly talk through some options of opportunities that you have to take and kind of talk through some of the thinking that we do when we select courses. Excuse me. Okay. So here's the deal. The first two pages of the document that you received is information that you can use to figure out what course makes the most sense for you. It talks through how to decide whether to take Math 1 or Math 2, AP or Environmental Science, some of the tutorial classes, and I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about those choices right now. So the first thing to note is that every freshman has 8 periods in the day. We obviously factor in 1 period for lunch. So once you take that out, that means you have 7 classes that you get to decide which ones you want to take. Now, all 7 aren't up for grabs because, of course, there are standard classes that every freshman takes. So those are going to be the first ones that are listed on the document that you're looking at. So you'll notice that option number 1 and option number 2 are all exactly the same. So every single freshman will take English 1 and social justice. So that's why those are listed first and the number is solidified. Those are 2 classes that go within your 7. The next choice that all students will take is a Spanish class. So if you have never taken Spanish before, then you are going to put a red X in Spanish 1 and it'll look like that. If you are a native Spanish speaker, then you'll have the opportunity to test out of Spanish 1 and figure out what Spanish makes the most sense for you. So you would put an X in this box. Since I know the majority of us are walking in getting ready to take Spanish 1, I'm going to leave my X in the Spanish 1 box. So that was my third course. The next thing I'm deciding is whether I want to take Math 1 or Math 2. So the general thinking is going to be this. If you had been struggling with Math 1 leading up to the point that when we were out of school, 100% you should plan on retaking Math 1. There are a very good bunch of students every year that select Math 1 to retake it. And the idea is that you don't want to go on to Math 2 and be behind and then end up having or earning a lower grade in Math 2 because you weren't prepared with the Math 1 skills. So if you don't think you have the foundational skills to be successful in Math 2, take Math 1. Now, if you've been taking Math 1, you've been staying on top of your Google Classroom work, you've been checking in with your math teachers, then you're going to go ahead and pick Math 2. So let's say I want to go with Math 2. So I'm going to put my X here. I'm going to make it red so that it really stands out to myself when I'm looking at them. Okay, so that means that I have my 4th class. So I have English 1, Social Justice, Spanish, and Math 2. The next class that every freshman will take is Environmental Science. And now, again, you have a choice. So if you would like to take AP Environmental Science, here is the deal with AP. So the first thing I want to point out is that it is a college class, which means that it moves at a college pace and has a workload of a college class. So there's definitely more work involved. However, the pro to that is that in May, you'll have the opportunity to sit for a national exam. And depending on what score you earn, you could potentially get college credit. So that's why we have a handful of students every year that choose to take AP. Environmental Science covers almost everything that AP Environmental Science does. It just moves at a much slower pace, or not even slower, a traditional pace. So to give you an example, for AP Environmental Science, the first unit will be done with in a week and a half. For Environmental Science, it takes about 2 to 2.5 weeks to complete the first unit. So that gives you an idea of the pace at which we're moving and why one is considered a college class over the other. So I'm going to tell you that most students decide to take Environmental Science, so I'm going to make that as my selection. So now I have my 5th class, which means that I have 2 more classes that I can take. So when I scroll down, you will notice that these are all optional classes. So you're choosing from this bottom list, in my case, 2. So let's say that I selected to take Math 2, but I am really on the fence about if I am ready to just jump right into Math 2, especially because I lost the last quarter. So I'm going to say, okay, I want to take Math 2 tutorial. So I'm going to make this X red. And now I'm going to make sure that I point out that I just selected my 6th class. So now I have one more left, and I have to decide, okay, so Reading with Power is specifically about reading comprehension and reading fluency. So if you struggle to read, you're going to want to select Reading with Power. If you selected to retake Math 1, but you're like, oh my gosh, but Math 1 was the biggest struggle of my life, then you're like, okay, I'm not only going to take Math 1, but I also want an extra hour of Math 1 every day to assist me, so I'm going to select Algebra with Power. So Algebra with Power is the equivalent to Math 1, while Math 2 tutorial is the equivalent to Math 2. But based on the schedule that I selected Math 2, so I'm going to select Math 2 tutorial. Okay, so next I am going to decide whether I want to get my health and PE credit done, my fine arts credit done, or take a study hall. Every single student, by the time that they graduate KPHS, has to have a fine arts credit and has to have taken health and PE. So when I'm looking at my schedule, I know that I want to have more room sophomore, junior, and senior year, especially if I want to start thinking about that associate's degree that maybe I want to earn. So I'm going to knock out one of the requirements, which I'm going to choose health and PE. So just to be clear, most freshmen do knock out health and PE their freshman year. Of course, we have a few sophomores every year that take health and PE, but the majority of freshmen will be in health and PE. So you'll notice that was my 7th course. Oops, I'm gonna make that red. So now I'm done. So now I'm gonna decide what is the best way to submit. Since I just did mine entirely digital, I would go to share. I would type in my name, so J.E. Lofstead, there I am, hello, and then I would click send. And what's going to happen is it's going to send me an email that you did it. I'm going to be able to look at it and make sure that all your requests are submitted. So that's one option of how a schedule would look. I'm going to go through one more option where you decided to take 2 tutorial classes, just so it's really clear about the way that looks. So I'm going to change, the only thing I'm going to change is instead of taking Math 2, I'm going to take Math 1. Okay, so up until here, I still have my 5th class. So now I have 2 left again, but this time I'm going to switch. So because I took Math 1, I'm going to turn this one to Algebra with Power. And I also know that I do struggle with reading, so I'm going to put an X there. So what that means is now I just chose my 6th and my 7th class. So that means that I'm done after that section. So that means that you'd plan on taking health and PE, band, or your fine arts credit later on, which is totally fine. Definitely prioritize the supports over health and PE or the fine arts credit, because like I said, you have 3 additional years afterwards to get those credits done, but you want to make sure that your freshman year GPA really sets you up to have a strong foundation. So definitely prioritize those tutorial classes if you think that you need help. And then same exact thing. Oh, I missed this, my bad. Up on the top, make sure you type in your name. So Mrs. Lofstead, and then the school that I went to, well, because it's right next door, I'm going to go GCP. And then again, share, type in my name. Here we go. Send. I got a copy. Okay? That's all you need to do to submit your courses. If digital doesn't make sense for you, then you're going to follow the same exact process. It's okay if it's not in red. And you are going to take a picture of it with your phone and then send me a picture message. And I will confirm that I got it and you'll be good to go. Okay, if you all need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out via email or my text message. What am I talking about? Or my phone number, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay, I will talk to you all soon. Have a great afternoon.